With the Melbourne Cup taking on an Irish brogue this year, at least the statue of Bart Cummings had an Aussie accent. Among the record-equalling 11 internationals competing in Australia's most popular race, French, English and even Scots dialects were detected. I have nothing against foreign individual trainers and their connections, but the racing club should not be setting so many places for them, Cummings commented. Of course, it is not the first time I have conversed with those who are no longer on ground level. Due to the lack of suitable subjects, a tree was also interviewed. But walking last week past the Cummings structure in the public section at Flemington, the urge arose to put questions to the master about the race upon which he made such an impact. Perhaps the likeness at Flemington is reflective of how he was on the mornings preceding the Melbourne Cup, nor his later years lighting incendiaries at Radwick track work to get trainers such as John Arshia on the boil, but the need to hear some wisdom from him was still overwhelming. The mention of the Irish dominance last Tuesday took him back to Bude in 2008, the last of his dozen Melbourne Cup triumphs. For the tactics employed in the 2008 Melbourne Cup were the most extraordinary in memory, he recalled. The Irish trainer Aidan O'Brien had 3 starters, the second favourite Septimus, Honolulu, and Alessandro Volta, all flown in from Europe and given the red carpet treatment by the VRC. My concerns about the VRC's willingness to make things easy for the Europeans had come to a head. In 2008 something like half the field were Northern Hemisphere horses. It's all very well to introduce a foreign flavour, but this was getting out of hand. For every one of them that raced, an Australian horse was missing out. And for every Australian horse missing out, that was a potential lost opportunity for our breed to develop the stamina it's all he needs. The running of the race was farcical at the front of the field at least. Aidan O'Brien's jockeys took off like it was a new market. Apart from bad tactics, the riding was dangerous for the rest of the field. And what about Lloyd Williams with 6 winners, the most successful owner topping your patron Dato Chin Nam? For me, the name Lloyd Williams evoked different memories, the master explained. I was at Flemington one morning at the clock tower and someone was talking about this big wheel Lloyd Williams, and I said, that's the boy who was Ray Borg's chauffeur. The fellow I was talking to said this could be true. Lloyd Williams was a big businessman, he was the Crown Casino man. He could have been a chauffeur. But a few weeks later the fellow ran into Williams and said, Bart Cummings said you used to be Ray Borg's chauffeur. That can't be true. Apparently Williams replied, Bart's got a good memory. Borg was the head of a big Melbourne department store Bon March. He started as a window cleaner. He had interests in several race horses. Once he introduced me to the chauffeur, who was a young kid with the face of an altar boy. His name was Lloyd.